Trump administration. Here is part of that tense exchange that Trump had with reporters in the Oval Office.
As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Now, in response, Khashoggi's widow says, quote, "This is not justification to murder him." Her statement goes on to say, she told CNN, "The Crown Prince said he was sorry, so he should meet me, apologize, and compensate me for the murder of my husband."
Let's discuss with Washington Post opinion columnist Jason Rezaian and lead global security analyst for Washington Post Intelligence, Josh Rogin. Thank you both for being with us. I do want to get your reactions to what we just heard there from President Trump. But Jason, I actually wanted to give you the opportunity to correct the record on something that a previous guest said, Chris Matthews, when he was talking about the Washington Post, that the paper didn't address the murder of Khashoggi today with this visit of MBS to the White House.
We actually addressed it beginning yesterday when I wrote a column about the visit in advance of this. Obviously, this is something that I've been aware of for several weeks that the Crown Prince was coming, but for the past 7+ years that the Washington Post has been not only covering closely, but trying to get accountability around. Josh and I worked very closely in the same section with Jamal Khashoggi. This is something that I take very personally, so thank you for the opportunity to clear the record.
Of course. And what did you make of this visit and what we heard from the president?
Well, it's clear that when the United States abandons its role as the defender of human rights around the world, the bad guys expand their human rights abuses with impunity. And that's what we're seeing here. I mean, you don't have to go all the way back to 2018. MBS killed a journalist in June, a journalist named Charky-Chami, who was alleged to have run a Twitter account critical of the Saudi royals' corruption, and he was executed. If there was a trial, we never saw it. So these crimes and human rights violations by MBS and his regime are ongoing. Dissidents in jail, human rights activists in jail, women's rights activists in jail. A person that I know named Saeed Al-Mahdi, who is an American citizen, 75 years old, was sentenced to 16 years for tweeting about MBS. And he's not in jail anymore, but he can't leave Saudi Arabia. He's on an exit ban. So the human rights abuser can come to Washington, but an American citizen who did nothing wrong cannot come home to Washington. And that's a direct result, in my view, of the U.S. government abandoning its position under the Trump administration as a defender of human rights, both in the United States and abroad.
I want to remind everybody of a quote from the time. The current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, in 2018 said there's no amount of money that can buy back our credibility on human rights. He was vehemently opposed to the whitewashing of this crime at the time, but he was there at the White House alongside President Trump and MBS today.
And it was 2018 during Trump's first term when the CIA concluded that Khashoggi's murder was done at the direction of the Crown Prince, who today called it a mistake. He didn't say he did it, right? But he did say it was a mistake. And there was also a sort of a Saudi inquest into it as well that found a lot of details kind of about certainly the specifics of it, but that blamed a lot of other people. This was